Hi, and welcome to this video review of Asphalt 4 Elite Racing. Produced by Gameloft, Asphalt 4 is an arcade-style racer, similar in gameplay to the Burnout and Ridge Racer series of games available on consoles such as the PlayStation and Xbox. The object of the game is to win races by any means necessary, and to accumulate as much money as you can. It features 28 licensed cars and bikes from the likes of BMW, Nissan, Ferrari, Aston Martin and Bugatti. There are 5 racing modes across 9 cities from New York to Shanghai. You play through street races, which feature the norm of first, second or third placings to progress, beat 'em all, which sees you take out as many opponents as possible within 3 laps, all the while avoiding the police, which you can take out too if you like. There's duel, which is a head-to-head, so you must beat your opponent by either taking him out or winning the race. And cop chase sees you chasing down the bad guys. You must take out the leader to win, using any means necessary. Finally, there's cash attack. In this mode you have to acquire as much cash as possible by doing tricks such as drifting, collecting cash around the course and taking out other drivers and cops. Once you enter in any of these modes, you're placed at the back, Ridge Racer style, and must make your way up the ranks. Nitro boosts are available to gain speed, and you can either pass straight by opponents or take them out by either boosting into them or knocking them into walls, other cars or off the road. Taking them out has its benefits, as you'll earn cash and extra boosts, but you can also pick up cash and nitro along the road. When you have reached the required objectives and laps, more cars, places and race types will become available to unlock. The object is to become the ultimate VIP in racing. The controls for Asphalt are not the best out there, but they do feature 3 good custom options. All modes feature automatic acceleration, which I think is great for this kind of mobile game. Braking is pulled off by hitting the red button, which you'll rarely need, and boost is activated by hitting the boost icon next to the speedometer. For controlling your vehicle on the road, you can either steer by touching on the left or right sides of the touchscreen, or another touch option features a small virtual steering wheel, which you can turn by touching it and dragging it left or right. I found these 2 options to be less responsive. The best of these options is tilt control. Simply tilt the iPhone left or right, and your car will do the same. Flick the iPhone forward, and you will boost. You can also drift by flicking either left or right while in a turn, and steadily steering in and out of the turn will hold your drift. Drifting can also be done with other control methods, but isn't as responsive. I applaud Gameloft for including these 3 options, but Asphalt is a master of neither of them. Other racing games out there feature better tilt control, such as GTS World Racing with its tilt speed control. However, this doesn't cripple the game, it's just that it could be improved. Asphalt 4 looks and sounds great. From the full motion video intro, you know this is going to be no slouch. It's the first race on the iPhone to feel like a fully fledged console game. I did worry that Asphalt would be a port of other mobile versions, which look a bit like 16-bit era of races like Chase HQ and Outrun, but with some 3D tweaks. The game was originally due to come out around the same time that the 2.0 iPhone software was released, so maybe it was delayed to add that extra polish and shine. Whatever Gameloft did, it worked, and I can happily say that Asphalt 4 looks great, and comparison wise, I'd put it somewhere in between the Nintendo DS and the Sony PSP in the looks department. The menu features a slick touch interface. All menu items are presented with easy to identify labels, and navigation is simple. In a nice visual feature, you can browse your garage of cars by simply flicking them from left to right with your finger, and once selected, you can spin them in 3D to get a better look. Races feature full 3D car models and tracks with good polygon counts and textures. Tracks feature diverse buildings and environments, roadside obstacles and basic traffic AI. This all adds up to create a feeling of a real, more engrossing city. It's not all great though. There is some noticeable slowdown during races, with the frame rate taking a hit in places. It's not as smooth as GTS for instance, but then Asphalt features far more detail in both environments and car models than GTS, so maybe some slowdown is expected. Also, there are some instances where cars will pass through other objects. This can detract from the real world feel, Again, like controls, the slowdown isn't a game killer, but let's hope in future updates these can be improved upon. All the menus and in-game driving feature some great music and sound. There is a main signature piece in the FMV intro which sounds a bit like Linkin Park, and this continues throughout the game, but each time is subtly different in its arrangement. It's a nice touch and screams of high production values. There is other music which is mostly an electro-rock fusion style. Sound effects are strong too, with good use of engine noise and boost effects, and some voice work is also included, counting you down to the start or notifying you of your final position. Overall, this is a great racing game, the best package so far, offering many playstyles, tracks and cars. It really is a console experience in miniature. If a fully featured arcade style game is your bag, then jump over to the App Store and pick it up. At $10 or £6, it's well worth it. However, if you want a realistic racer, then you may want to hold out for real racing, which should be along soon. Asphalt 4 gets an 8 out of 10. Visit iPhonegamesnetwork.com for the full review and rating breakdown.